Today, I've been everywhere today, and this is what it looked like. All sweaty and nasty. I was in bed until like 1 or 2, I think. I can't remember. Still got my iPad there from when I was working earlier. I was supposed to put my blog out today, and I didn't get to it. I've got my devotion tomorrow, which is this. Part of it is. And my air conditioning unit blew up at the house. We have a warranty for it. But the warranty, people called me and told me that it's going to cost more than we thought. And it's an old unit, and they can't replace half of it with the old stuff and then put in new stuff. And oh man, so I did all that. Washed my wife's car tonight, did the laundry, cooked dinner. Man, I did all kinds of stuff today. Worked on somebody's guitar, worked on somebody's record player. This day's crazy. Let's see. Unless I do it like on a truck bed, maybe. Hey everybody, mosquito truck, North Carolina. Heard that go by. Here I am. Yep, finished my wife's car. It's all pretty, clean. Got it ready for her to go to work tomorrow. Yep, looks real pretty out here in the sun. The way the sunlight just hits the car. You ever had one of these days? It's bedtime. Hi. Yep. So here I am, finally getting to chill a little bit here this evening and enjoying the sounds of outside in the evening time. Sure is pretty out here. My back porch. It's a nice 137 degrees out here. Figured I'd just chill before I evaporate before your very eyes. It's been one of those days, right? You ever had one? Okay, let's see. Will this be enough? Oh no. Was a secret chord that David played as it pleased the Lord, but you don't. Hey everybody, Matt Crump here with hashtag God's Got This, and welcome to Meaningful Moments. And I surely hope that there are some for you today. I hope you've had some. It's been an amazing week. This week's theme has been called The Climb. And man, I have been climbing through some things this week. It has been some highs and some lows, I'll tell you what. I don't want to sit here all this time and go through all that with you today. I want to kind of recap this week and share some things with you in our devotion time today that recaps where we've been this week. And there's a couple of scriptures that I pointed out in the podcast on Tuesday. And I apologize, I didn't get the blog out yesterday. Well, yesterday. Yeah, because now it is Friday at 12:20 a.m. I'm doing this because I'm that far behind. I had a rough start of the morning today, and so now I'm just trying to catch up and get to bed ASAP. So I'm trying to get this done. I've had some information I shared with you this week on the podcast there with a story about a girl named Sasha who's a climber. And she set some world records, still setting world records, and she was the first woman to climb a 9A. Which is basically mean really tall, straight up rock. So it was pretty amazing. And I watched the video of her doing it. And what was really cool is that she would just stick her fingers in these little tiny cracks and she'd make her way up. And there's times she would slip and she'd fall, but she was, on a rope and she had a safety, so everything was safe. But it wasn't easy when you fall, then you have to start all over again, right? And keep on going. It's pretty high. And some of the things she said in the video was pretty powerful.
she was climbing, right, as she got close to the top, and her hands were really getting bloody from all the work that she was doing, and as she kept trying to find places to put her hands in that rock. And she said this. She said, "Screw the tape. I made it through the cracks, and I don't care if I bleed." So she had tape obviously around her hands trying to climb, and then the tape just kept peeling off as the rocks were just cutting through it and then cutting through her hands, and it was amazing. So she's like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't care about it. I'm just going to go." And she rocked it, which was pretty powerful. Two scriptures that stood out to me this week as I shared the stories with you about the climb. The first one was in Isaiah 2:2-3. It says, "Now it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow to it. Many people shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, and we shall walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." Powerful stuff, talking about this mountain, right? And a lot of times we think the mountain of the Lord was this huge mountain, and in all actuality, if you do some research, you'll find out that it really wasn't that tall of a mountain, wasn't the tallest. What they're really referring to there is the height of the depth of the Lord, and his mountain is massive, right? So it says, "Many people come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and he will teach us his ways, and we shall walk in his paths." What was really cool there to me was thinking about that a lot of times when we do some mountain climbing or trail blazing or something like that, we have an opportunity to go through places where people have been before. So the paths have already been made, like with Sasha. I watched on this video that she was climbing, whether it was her or other people. I noticed that when they would show some close-ups of her hands that she was looking for a next place to go, you could see at some places where somebody else had some rosin, and they had stuck their hands in some cracks there. So somebody else had been there before. So it was kind of helping her to find some places where she could go and climb as well. Even though she was the first woman, somebody else had tried it before. It may have been women, and definitely some men had made it up there, but she was the first woman to do it. She set the stage for it, and now she has lots of people following her lead, which is amazing. So we were talking about Isaiah 2:2-3, and then I talked this week on our podcast about 2 Peter 1:2-7. It says, "May grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord. His divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness, through the knowledge of him who called us to his own glory and excellence, by which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire." All right, so here's where it really kicks in, and this is what we're going to be talking about. For this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, and virtue with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with steadfastness, and steadfastness with godliness, and godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love. So I was talking about these 8 cracks in the mountain. And these 8 cracks in the mountain are these 8 places that we just talked about in Scripture right here. And I'd like to dig in with that. I'll dig in with you a little bit on that here in just a moment. Be right back.
Everybody, this is Matt from hashtag God's Got This. And man, if you've not got your cool white God's Got This shirt in your house, you sure can. Come visit us at godsgotthis.love. You can go to the shop at godsgotthis.love/shop. And you can check out your own white shirt. Maybe white's not your thing. That's cool, because guess what? Today, we just got all these cool gray shirts. These are stellar, man. The new God's Got This shirt in gray. Yep, it's killer. So we got some cool stuff in there and some more stuff getting ready to come out. So it's going to hit the shop soon. Probably in the next few weeks, we got a few things that are coming in from being ordered that I think you'll dig. So stay tuned. Visit us at godsgotthis.love and go to the shop, and you'll be able to find a bunch of cool resources available for you, and helps us in the ministry to reach people for Jesus with a message of hope. And of course, hashtag God's Got This.
All right, so the 8 cracks, right? So it was faith was the first place. You got to have a foothold, and you've got to have a place where you could grab into something and move. And this, like Sasha in that story I was telling you earlier, that it's a place where you can hold on to something, but you can't just hold on. It's got to be able to be something that you can move with, right? Something that can propel you and put you into a different place. So faith, and then faith went to virtue, virtue to knowledge, knowledge to self-control was number 4. And from number 4 to number 5, steadfastness. And from number 5 to 6, godliness. And number 7, affection. And then finally, when you get to the top, you're almost there to this place of affection. You have moved through faith and virtue and knowledge and self-control, steadfastness. You got to listen to the podcast. It's all in there. And then you get to this place of affection. Now, sometimes people will kind of think that affection and love are the same thing, but they're not exactly the same. They're similar, but not the same. So, it's not like you find that person and you have that night that you're sitting there thinking, I want to finally say something to this person and finally tell them the way I'm feeling. And you say, I just want to tell you, I've really fallen in affection with you. That's not what they're looking to hear, right? It's like, I've fallen in love with you, right? So there's a big difference between affection and love. So affection is kind of that place where you have some good feelings and an endearment. It is a place where you would have a desire to be with someone, a desire to do things for someone. It's about some things. Affection could be about inanimate objects. Affection can be about, like a car, for example, or it can be about animals, dogs, cats, whatever. So affection is that place where it's a beginning point for something that you can really get to the best place with the best view at the top of the mountain, right? When you climb up there and you get to the very top, and it's love. It's an amazing journey. It's an amazing climb. And we're going to find many mountains that we have to climb in our walk with Christ. If you're not walking with Christ today, I surely hope that you would consider. And I'd love to talk with you about that. If you'd contact me at community@godsgotthis.love. That's my email. You can check it out at godsgotthis.love. Find me there, wherever. I'd love to talk to you. If you are a follower of Christ, it's so cool to be able to share an opportunity and a moment with people, right? So imagine that you are on a mountaintop, and like you watch some of these shows. Like I was watching Dirty Jobs the other day with Mike Rowe. I just took a left turn. I realized that, but so I was watching Mike Rowe, and he's doing all these crazy things. I was watching him climbing through this cave, and he's going through all these holes. He's like, all right, and you keep looking at his face as he climbing through. But what you're not really thinking about so much is the other guy who's the cameraman who went before Mike, and he's doing all the stuff. Mike got stuck in the rock, and he's like scared to death, but the other guy's already going through. So that is some amazing stuff, right? So there's always a great benefit of traveling with two people. For example, if you get stuck, maybe the other guy can pull you out, which is cool, right? But then you have a chance to share with people. It's like laughing. Laughing's so cool. If you're at an event or something like that, and people laugh, and they enjoy laughing with each other, right? My son, I was watching yesterday. It made me think about this too. He was watching a movie, and he had his headphones on. I'm driving, he's in the passenger seat. And you know how it is, if you're watching a movie, have your headphones on, and you're in your own little world, and you're seeing everything, hearing everything. It's like, it's so massive to you, so big, everything's there, and you're thinking that everybody else can hear it, but they can't. It's just you, right? So my son was involved in part of this movie, and he just started laughing. And he laughed, and he kind of looked at me and smiled like I could hear it. I couldn't. I didn't have headphones on. I didn't know what was going on, but he just looked at me and smiled, because there's something about sharing a moment with somebody, and to be able to have that interaction, to laugh with one another, that interaction to share an affection, that interaction to share love, is amazing. So it's always great to be with somebody, to do that. And I want to encourage you that not to walk this life alone. It's very easy to escape. It's very easy to run away. It's hard to face life. and it's hard to face life with somebody else sometimes. But the benefit far outweighs the risk. I want to encourage you to find a person, find some space and a place where you can hold yourself accountable, where you can find somebody to laugh with, somebody that you can, because they're there. A lot of times we would say, oh, I'm all alone, nobody loves me, I think I'll eat a worm. I get it. We've all had those moments. Let's just be real. But, you're not alone. And there are people that want to laugh with you, laugh at you. Sometimes they laugh at me a bunch, but it's good to have those moments with people. So I want to encourage you this week to realize that we all have to face this climb. And it's not like when you climb this mountain, that's it. Nah, it's time for the next one. So every one we climb really helps to build that endurance for the next one. So I just want to encourage you to keep in the race, keep in the climb, and keep going for it. There is higher heights and an awesome view at the top. So it really just takes a little faith to start. It's the first place. It's the first grip, right? And then you work from faith to virtue. It can be one step at a time. And I just want to encourage you to keep climbing, never give up, and really never forget, God's got this.